Some of President Donald Trump's approval ratings have hit a new low. World leaders are heading to Pope Francis's funeral, and a cicada invasion is imminent. That's some of what we'll get to on The 7 from The Washington Post. I'm Rennie Svirnovsky, in for Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, April 25th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. Number 1. President Trump's approval ratings on immigration have turned negative. This morning, the Post published a new poll with ABC News and Ipsos, and the results do not make a good reading for the president. A majority of Americans, 53%, now disapprove of Trump's handling of immigration. That's a reversal from February, when half of the public voiced approval of his approach to one of his core policy issues. The poll is a sign that the Trump administration's hardline and, in some cases, legally dubious enforcement tactics are losing public support. And it comes amid mounting public frustration more broadly over Trump's presidency as it closes in on its first 100 days next week. Multiple polls this week show Trump hitting new lows. His approval rating has been double digits underwater in at least 4 recent surveys. But most of Trump's major policies appear to be even more unpopular than he is. That suggests his image is being buoyed by loyalists who might not like what they're seeing, but still say they support him, for now. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth's chief of staff quit yesterday. That's number 2. This was the latest twist in a period of turmoil at the Pentagon. There have been reports of infighting among Hegseth's advisors. At least 3 political appointees have been fired, and Hegseth's future has been called into question over his use of Signal to share military plans. Joe Casper is the departing chief of staff. He told the Post he's leaving the role voluntarily and that he will become a part-time special government employee with a focus on science, technology, and industry. But the spate of departures and firings is a mark of disruption and instability, the likes of which the Pentagon has rarely experienced. Defense officials have described Hegseth as paranoid and increasingly isolated. Number 3. Vatican City is preparing to host Pope Francis's funeral tomorrow. The Pope died Monday after suffering a stroke. His death set off carefully choreographed proceedings that will eventually conclude with the election of a new pontiff. But first, Francis will be laid to rest. The funeral will be held at St. Peter's Square in Vatican City at 10 a.m. local time tomorrow. Tens of thousands of mourners are expected to attend, including President Trump, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, and Britain's Prince William. Some of the 135 cardinal electors who will choose the next pope will help lead Francis's funeral. In the coming weeks, they will get to work and start casting ballots at the Sistine Chapel to select a new pontiff. In our newsletter today, you can find the funeral guest list and a list of 13 things you probably didn't know about Francis. As usual, just follow the link in our show notes. Number 4. The U.S. could face millions of measles cases over the next 25 years. That's if vaccination rates for the disease drop 10%. It was once virtually wiped out in the United States. If we see no change in the current vaccination rate, that would result in hundreds of thousands of measles cases over the same period. This is all according to new research published yesterday. The U.S. has already recorded about 800 measles cases in the first 3.5 months of 2025. That's the largest number in a single year since 2019. And the numbers continue to grow. The majority of the infections came out of a West Texas outbreak that led to the deaths of 2 unvaccinated and otherwise healthy school-age children in Texas, and an unvaccinated adult in New Mexico. To prevent measles outbreaks, 95% of the population needs to be vaccinated with 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, or the MMR vaccine. But hesitancy to accept the COVID-19 vaccines has led more parents to question routine childhood vaccinations. And ongoing state policy debates about school vaccination requirements and Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s interest in re-examining the childhood vaccine schedule could substantially reduce immunization coverage. Big Ten university faculties are pushing for a defense alliance against Trump. That's number 5. A burgeoning movement among Big Ten universities would create an alliance to counter government attacks on higher education. The White House has said it aims to end what it calls, quote, woke policies on campuses it views as fostering anti-Semitism and harboring foreign students engaged in, quote, known illegal activity. Several faculty and university senates have approved resolutions asking their leaders to sign a NATO-like agreement. It would allow the universities to share attorneys and pool financial resources in case Trump's administration targets one of its members. The situation across campuses is extremely charged because of the Trump administration's threats to freeze billions of dollars in federal funding to higher education. To date, officials have primarily gone after Ivy League institutions. Harvard University, with its $53.2 billion endowment, has been its biggest target. But the Big Ten isn't an enclave of elite Northeastern schools that cultivate America's next ruling class. In addition to schools on both coasts, it represents land-grant universities in the Midwest and corn-fed athletics programs that are central to each state's identity. Number 6. An early trade shook up the first round of the NFL draft.
With the first pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Tennessee Titans select Cameron Ward, quarterback, Miami.
As expected, the Tennessee Titans chose quarterback Cam Ward with the number 1 pick last night. But then, the Jacksonville Jaguars executed one of the boldest trades in NFL draft history. They swapped first-round picks with the Cleveland Browns and moved up to take Heisman Trophy winner Travis Hunter, staking their future on an unusual two-way player acquired through an unusual transaction. Moving from 5th to 2nd is the kind of deal that happens all the time, but not like this. Franchises are typically only willing to fork over the resources required to leap into the top of the draft for a quarterback. You can see a list of all 32 first-round picks at a link in our newsletter. Find that in the show notes. Rounds 2 and 3 begin tonight at 7 o'clock Eastern, with quarterback Shedeur Sanders still up for grabs. He's Hunter's college teammate and the son of Hall of Fame quarterback Deion Sanders. And at number 7. They're back. Millions of red-eyed, noisy cicadas will invade parts of the U.S. this spring. Cicadas come in 2 varieties, annual and periodical. Annual cicadas have black or green eyes and emerge every year. The cicada sounds you just heard are a species from the group Brood X. Those noises were recorded in Northern Virginia in 2021. This year's cicadas are members of the second largest periodical group, Brood 14, and will appear for the first time since 2008. They'll have fire engine red eyes and will emerge from the ground in at least 13 states to eat and mate and shriek. It won't be as bad as last year when 2 periodical broods surfaced simultaneously. They were so loud, people not familiar with the sound in South Carolina called their sheriff's office. But they will make themselves known, all across the eastern United States. Don't call the sheriff. That's the show for this week. The associate producer of The Seven is Taylor White. Special help this week from guest host Laura Benshoff. The staff writers are J.B. Ross and Hannah Jewell. John Taylor is our editor. Additional editing by Christina Quinn. Copy editing by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Rennie Smirnovsky. Thanks for listening, and have a great weekend. We'll meet you back here on Monday.
I'm Sally Jenkins, and I'm a sports columnist and feature writer for The Washington Post. My job entails pulling the curtain on really big sports events at what is going on in locker rooms, what's going on in the stadium tunnel, most importantly, what's going on in the minds of the athletes that I cover. I think that we have an instinct that sports are really important in some primal way. We pay a lot of money for them. We build really big stadiums for them. And I think that athletics really gets us in touch with aspiration and teach something very, very important about accountability, about self-determination. And so my job is to really make those links explicit for readers and users. Subscriptions support this work and the people behind it. Find out more at subscribe.washingtonpost.com. I'm Sally Jenkins, and I'm one of the people behind The Post.